video for you, and these are of the ELF Smudge Pots. I think that I got every single color. I purchased these quite a while ago, but it has taken me a really long time. I had been meaning to film this video for a couple of months, but work got very busy. Finally, I can film this video. The thing that inspired me to finally film this video is last week I did an ELF Get Ready With Me, and I used one of the smudge pots. And this week I also watched Tarababyz haul. She did a drugstore haul and she showed a couple of these smudge pots, and it just inspired me to go ahead and finally film this swatch video. I think she mentions in this video that these smudge pots say they're new on the packaging, but I purchased these about, I want to say, a good 6 months ago, so they're not that new. But I will go ahead and get started with my swatches. So this one shade here is Gotta Glow, very nice, soft and creamy, but this one tends to cling to my dry patches. So there it is. It's a golden champagne shade, I'd say. So this one, I wonder if I could actually maybe even use this on my cheeks, because it doesn't quite work on my eyelids, just because, like I said, this particular shade clings to my dry patches, and I feel like it gives it like that flaky look. But they are quite good as eye primers. Hit the Town, and that's what it looks like. It looks like a gunmetal gray shade, and I'm just gonna go ahead, and there you can see extremely pigmented, and I'll just put that right underneath there. I'm very impressed with these ELF Smudge Pots. Wipe my hand and move on to Crusin Chic. It's a very beautiful light bronze shade. Emily Noel did a whole review on these. She says that they last really well on her lids. Woo. They're really like soft and creamy. I love the shades. This one is so beautiful. The next one here is another bronzy shade. This one is called Brownie Points. It's actually showing pretty true in the viewfinder to the color. Let me see. Cleaned off this finger. And there you have it. This one is more of a deeper brown shade than the previous. Look at that. Gorgeous. And the next shade is another sort of neutral shade. It's a little bit, it leans a little bit more on the goldy bronze side, and this is Back to Basics. If you let these set, or if you set these with a powder, they will last much longer. I'm not letting them set, and that's why it's easy for me to wipe them off right now. So that's what that looks like. It's definitely more of a bronze shade than the top two ones that I swatched earlier. They're extremely pigmented, like a little bit goes a long way. The lightest one so far, which I really don't think shows up that well against my skin tone because it's very yellowy, is that first one that I showed you, which is the Gotta Glow, which I actually think that I should try to use as maybe like a brow highlight or something else, maybe a cheek highlight, but it doesn't, like I said, this one clings to my dry patches on my eyes, so I'm not like the craziest about that shade. I actually think that I have one missing, because I am absolutely positive that I have more than this. So I'm gonna actually search for that one after I finish swatching what I have at my desk. It is Wisdom's Pearls of Wisdom, and it's a white shimmery iridescent shade. And that's what that looks like. So those of you who like white bases, I'll swatch this one at the top closer to Gotta Glow is. So there it is, you can see. This one I feel like could also be used as a highlighting shade. It really just depends on your skin tone. They're very creamy, they're very soft. I really like them, but they're quite different from the other ELF eyeshadows that I showed you, the ones with a more spongy texture. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is Ocean Bound. And I'm gonna stick Ocean Bound right about there. So that's just a blue navy color. Is that showing up true? It's actually darker than Poppin Party. That's what it looks like. It's like an eggplant color. And that's what that looks like. And I'll put it underneath this blue. Look at that. Amazing. Now I feel like I have one missing because I feel like I've put other ones on my eyes before. Maybe I lost them somewhere in my collection, so I'm gonna go look for them and I'll be right back. I found the missing smudge pot. This is the one in Ain't That Sweet. So I did remember that I had another one, and this one also clings to my dry patches. So I find that the lighter shades tend to cling to my dry patches, and they don't have as nice of swatches. So I'll swatch all these light ones together. This is like a peachy shimmery shade. It's actually very iridescent. This one probably needs to be used as a highlighter as well. Here's a closer view of those lighter shades. My favorite of the ones that I showed you are these two shades. This one is Crusin Chic, and then this one is Brownie Points. And I believe that Tarababyz in her video says Crusin Chic is a dupe for Tom Ford's Platinum, and this one over here, Brownie Points, is a dupe for Tom Ford's Spice. And she does do a swatch. I'll link her video below, and they're pretty darn close. And she even mentions that the formula of these ELF ones are more long-lasting than even the Tom Ford ones. Like the Tom Ford ones tend to crease on her, I think she says. Because I had mentioned earlier in the video that if you let these set, they do stay pretty well put. So I've let them set for a little bit now, so I just kind of wanted to show you, I'm rubbing, and they are very, very stay put. And I haven't even set them with the powder either. So, and then you can see, well, my finger is shimmery because I was doing swatches earlier, but you can see that not much color is actually coming off on my fingers. That was a much more hard swatch. I wish maybe my pinky is less dirty so I could do it with the pinky to show you. So the pinky got a little bit of shimmer on it, but you can see it didn't really disturb the shadows that much. Out of these 9 shades that I have, the 3 that I don't think I'm going to be using on my eyes any longer are the 3 lighter shades that I mentioned, Ain't That Sweet, Pearls of Wisdom, and Gotta Glow, because I feel like these lighter shades are less pigmented. They tend to crease in my dry, patchy areas, but they do make a very good base. Like, I feel like they last all day. As for all the darker shadows, I feel like those ones are much more pigmented. They do not tend to crease so much on my dry patches, and I just like them better. So these 6 that I really like that I showed you, I would continue to use these on my eyes. They are much, much better than the Maybelline Color tattoos. I own a lot of color tattoos, and mainly because my weakness is just like, wow, they're so beautiful. This one is in the shade Bad to the Bronze, but they're just, I feel like the Maybelline tattoos, they're just so dry and they're very tacky and they're really hard to blend into your eye, whereas these are much more creamy, and once they set, they stay better. This is the Maybelline Bad to the Bronze down here. And then I also wanted to mention, because I do have an entire swatch video of the ELF Long Lasting Lustrous Eyeshadows. Now these ones are also like a spongy texture. These are a lot more spongy and whipped like, but they're also extremely pigmented than the ELF Smudge Pots. They're very, very different in consistency, and they're actually much more shimmery and have a lot more micro glitters, I would say. So that's just another swatch of the lustrous eyeshadows. I like them both, but if you want a much more natural finish and base, I would definitely go with the ELF Smudge Pots, because I feel like they're much more of a natural, workable base, if that makes sense. Whereas these lustrous eyeshadows, they move around a lot. They kind of remind me of what somebody would think a Colourpop eyeshadow would be like, because they move around. You could probably scoop it out with a spoon and then press it back in, and it would pretty much be the same. Whereas with these ELF Smudge Pots, they're more like a color tattoo, except a lot more hydrating and a lot more creamy. So my favorite of these 3 things that I mentioned are the ELF Smudge Pots, and then the next would be the ELF long-lasting lustrous eyeshadows. And then the last would be the Maybelline Color tattoos, even though I still buy Maybelline Color tattoos because I'm a sucker for their limited edition and their pretty shades that they always come out with. So I hope you guys found that useful. And I did want to mention that I did purchase everything that I talked about myself. I know that I have mentioned that ELF has sent me products in the past for testing, so I just thought I would mention that all these eyeshadows from ELF I purchased on my own. So thank you guys for watching and see you next time. Bye!